Hi. Hi, welcome. This is my first live stream, so please tell me if you can't hear me or this is going horribly, horribly wrong. Yay. What? Hi, guys. So, this was an exciting day. I just had to jump in here and start talking about it because this has just been insane. Hi, guys. Thanks for joining me. I think we're in for it. It only took us 30 days, but I think we're finally going to be excited about noms. What? Oh, I'm so pumped. Okay, let's start from the beginning because last night was an emotional roller coaster. Cliff was out, Cliff was in, and then boom. Hope you guys all know we're talking spoilers here. So guess who's HOH? Cliff, Boss Hog. Boss Hog. I can't believe it. Okay, so I was worried. Were you guys also worried when Cliff was HOH? Because, like, he's done a great floater job. Like, he's just floating from power to power, saying what someone needs to hear in that moment and then saying what someone else needs to hear in a different moment, right? So, like, I don't know what that means for a Cliff HOH, right? But he said, new sheriff is in town. And it looks that way. It really, really does look that way. He did all his little one-on-ones today. Everybody was scrambling. Oh, to see the 6-shooters scrambling, oh, this is so good. This is what we deserve. This is what we needed. They don't know what to do. This is the first time they haven't been in control. And they just literally, they just don't know what to do. Those people have been in power for 30 days, for a month. And we saw them losing their minds with dripping in power, literally telling people that they couldn't speak game or that they couldn't talk, leave the room. I mean, the power trip these 6-shooters were on was just, oh, right? Oh, so gross. Hey, Hunter. What's up? Hi, Jolene. I know. I'm doing it live. What am I doing? I just have so much to say that I was like, well, here we are. I don't know what it's going to look like or sound like, but this is what we're doing. Yay. Thanks. Okay, so new sheriff is in town, and he says that he needs to break up this 6. And even though a lot of people are pointing out, that Nick and Bella are rats and not being that, all of a sudden everyone's so worried about how mean they were to Nicole. Okay. we're just gonna put that out there, and we're just gonna, okay, everyone's all of a sudden on their high horse about how Nicole was treated. So they really don't like Nick and Bella. But Cliff's like, look, if I have to sleep with the enemies to break up this 6, I'm gonna do it. You guys, I think it's gonna be the Jacks. Goose, oh my God, Goose. Oh wow, we go way back. Yes, you get a power trip, exactly. I'm gonna try to do lives more often. I'm just getting into it. I hope this hope this is not a huge train wreck. So all of the one-on-ones happened today. Did you guys watch any of these one-on-ones? Everyone was trying to come up with a different story. Oh gosh, Jackson's plan is my favorite. Jackson takes himself so seriously. And he also has some sort of martyr or savior complex where he has to fix everything. So as soon as 6-shooters are like, oh my gosh, Cliff's in charge, what's gonna happen? What are we gonna do? He's like, I'm gonna go up as a pawn so that he's like, Christy, come talk to me. Will you use your diamond power of veto if I'm a pawn? he was hoping that Cliff would put him up next to Nick. And then Christy he would win. I guess he thinks he's going to win veto. And then Christy would use her diamond power veto so that he got to renom, Bella or whoever. And so then definitely Six Shooters doesn't lose anyone. They get their way. And he did bring it up to Cliff and was like, I'll be a pawn. And they told Cliff about Christy's power. Legitimately, every single person in the house now knows about Christy's power. She was like, who doesn't know? Let me just make sure. And like, she runs into the room and is like, Kat, I think you're the last one. I have the power. Okay, bye. And that's it. So now everyone knows. But I do think Jackson was bullied, you guys. And out of 2 middle schools, which I was kind of like, how nice that your parents just took you to different schools. Not everyone is afforded that luxury. Also, but to that point, Jolene, also Christy today said she's against Nick and Bella because it's what she stands for in life is treating people, kindly and respectfully and all that stuff. And I was like, what? Dante? What? Huh? Anyway, we know who's in this house. We do. And I think they're going to scramble all week long. So Jackson's plan is not going to really, he might think it's his plan because I think he's going up, but he's going to go up to next to Jack. So that's really not Jackson's plan. He doesn't want Jack next to him. So they will be upset about that, but Jackson still might think that he's like a pawn and he'll win veto and Christy can like do her diamond power veto and they'll get Nick or Bella or Sam up there and they might feel like they still could get their way. But Christy later was like, I'm not using my power on Jack or Jackson or somebody else because she'll need it for herself, which is very, very valid. I know. I was shocked that Cliff came back. What's your opinion on Cliff winning back to back? He's just on fire. I don't know if it was the shock of, a blindside being evicted and not really realizing that he was going to be evicted. And then like, boom, 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 like that adrenaline. And he was just in the mood that he just could win. I don't know if it's that or if he's been holding out on us. He said pre-show, getting into the house that he kind of has to, become everyone's friends and play hard. But I'm sure he didn't want to have to win competition. So he might have been holding back. And maybe he's just a comp beast. Maybe we had no idea. Oh my God, feeds are back. Oh my gosh. Wait, Tommy's crying. He didn't go up, did he? Okay, it is the Jacks. Okay, good. Yeah. It sounded like it was going to be the Jacks, but I think Tommy's crying because his game. He did like a second round. He came back to Cliff at the very end and was like, I just got to try one more thing. And he was like, I know you're saying you want to break up the 6, but if you put someone from the 6 up and someone from the other side up, then you have less blood on your hand and it's not you breaking up the 6. And then we can decide who goes and it's all on us instead of you. Like, hello, that makes no sense. Like Tommy's obviously scrambling. If you're saying put someone on both sides up, we're still going to have the numbers. So we're going to save our group and we'll get rid of them. And then honestly, Cliff has people pissed off on both sides, right? Like that doesn't make any sense. But this is the first time that Tommy is in a bad place. You think it's Jack and Tommy, Jolene? Oh my gosh. Yes, I think the whole week they're going to be running around with chickens. Like they don't know how. I'm seeing that it's Jack and Jackson on the Big Brother Daily is saying it's Jack and Jackson. I think they're going to be scrambling all week. Like, even if one of them wins veto and Nick or Bella or Sam, like somehow they get somebody else up there, I think this still like throws them off kilter. And I think that it messes up the dynamic of their whole power structure. So I think no matter what, I think this is wonderful. I think this is so good for all of us. Wanting Christy to join him. He has a plan. Tommy has a plan. Okay, great. Get it, Tommy. Figure it out. Why is Tommy like, this is shocking that Tommy is like this caught off guard. Tommy and Christy, actually, Cliff had them in his mouth like in the beginning. Live feeds are not free. And I don't know if they're worth it. Just read the updates on Twitter. I know. If Nicole wins next week, if we could like keep this on a roll, wouldn't that be amazing? Yes, I'm going to manifest it. Yep, I'm working on it. Tommy had a pitch. Yeah, his pitch was awful though. I don't know why he thought it was going to work. To put someone up on each side does not make sense. And he knows the game. So that's him just being caught up in like being scared that his game is going downhill, because he knows that makes no sense. Why put someone up on both sides? Then you're still giving the people with the numbers the power. Wow, this is amazing. Bring back shirt from BB20 week 2 recap. Oh, okay. I'll have to go check out what that shirt was. Not sure what that is. David is okay. By the way, David is at Comic-Con in San Diego this week. He's there for work. He produces content for DC Comics. So he is there nerding it up with all of them. So he will be back for our video on Monday night. But he probably doesn't even know what's going on because Comic-Con is such a busy, busy time. So, yes, as Jolene would call them, Jerkson and Aquadouche are on the block. You guys, it took 30 days, but we're here. They're both on the block. They're not going to know how to behave. Jackson, with his martyr complex, is going to freak out. And he's a have-not, you guys. Jackson's not going to have his normal fuel to handle the emotional roller coaster that's going to happen. Yes, this is so exciting. I don't think with the two of them on the block, I don't think Christy will use her diamond power at veto. Even if one of them wins veto, she's just, not to be rude, but she's very into herself. And I don't think she would be willing to use that for other people. And I think she thinks that both of those guys are dispendable, right? I mean, Tommy would be the only person I think she would even consider. Yeah, I don't think she would protect anyone but Tommy, and I don't even know if she would protect Tommy. That's a good point. Would she use it out of fear of Cliff putting her up if she doesn't use it? I don't know. And that is his backup. He said if he has to do a replacement nominee, it will come out of the Tommy Christie pool. But I don't know. That's a good, if someone could make Christy paranoid enough that she would be the replacement nominee, we know how paranoid she gets, right? She would lose it and she might use it for that. This is our Narnia. Yes. Down with the hateful. Yeah, she's so paranoid and she's very self-absorbed. So she's not going to want to use it unless she really thinks she's in danger. And as we've already seen, anything can make her feel like she's in danger. So she could possibly use it. Okay. Wolf Viver. Lost your pencil at school and you lost it too. Hey, sometimes there's triggers that just send us over the edge. Here's something that I want to ask you guys though, because as I was watching the one-on-ones, So many people, obviously all of Six Shooters, thought that they could sort of convince Cliff that Nick and Bella were the ones that needed to go up, and that he would have their support if he puts Nick and Bella up, or one or the other, that he would have their protection and support. And I just kept thinking, if I heard over and over again that these people I want up, I'd be like, great, I'm not going to put them up, because then I know you will put them up, right? Doesn't that make sense, that you'd be like, okay, you guys all have this common enemy, so I'm going to let you guys do that when you win. I don't need to do that. And most everybody said something wonderful about Tommy and Christy, because Cliff has mentioned that he knows Tommy and Christy are dangerous together. But Sam was talking to Cliff in his first one-on-one this morning, and was really talking about how trustworthy Christy is and how Christy's been there. And he was just talking up Christy so much, and it doesn't really make sense. First off, Christy didn't let you in on the vote, Sam. And Christy voted out Cliff. And Christy put Cliff up in her HOH weeks ago. So I don't know that Cliff is really down with Christy, except he knows she has that power. So he probably changed his mind on putting her up because of the power, which part of me says just force her to use it, get it out, don't save it. Don't make her like untouchable. Would Cliff nominate Nick and Bella due to the issue with Nicole? I mean, he said he wasn't going to nominate Nick and Bella because he needs to break up the six. Not that he necessarily wants to work with Nick and Bella, but he knows that they can still be there as a target for whoever's left with Six Shooters, but that the Six Shooters need to be broken up. And that's what's the most important thing to all of us, right? Break them up. Break them up. I don't think Chris says, what if Chris uses her power and they put up Nicole? That would be very sad, but I think Nicole's in a pretty decent position right now, because the Six Shooters worked so hard to be like, we're saving her, we love her, we want to protect her. So they're pretending like they're pulling her in, and she's playing along with it, and also keeping her options open with Cliff. And Nick is like, I'm in a good place with Nicole. So like Nicole just needs to ride it out and not have any more blow-ups. Yes, I'm so happy with Cliff's noms too. Jack and Jackson on the block. Jack and Jackson on the block. And did you guys hear who are have-nots? I think it's Jackson, Kat, which is interesting because they have to sleep in a room together. Holly's not a have-not. She's not going to be in that same room. And Jackson's literally going to lose his mind. He's on the block and he can't eat constantly. Oh, yeah. When is a double eviction going to come up? That is a good point. We're not there yet, but it's got to be coming soon. Well, I guess it doesn't have to be. We just lost 3 people all at once. Yeah, respect to Cliff for this. I mean, exactly, for pulling a Scotty. By the way, Scotty did this a week earlier. This season is moving at the pace of molasses. But last week, Nick could have done any of this. Like, Nick's HOH, can we just talk about that for a second, was awful. I mean, I was already disappointed with him in the beginning when he didn't even try to go after Jack or anybody. And then the whole hoopla, and he got focused on Nicole, and that was just silly and ends up wasted. He nominated 3 people and 0 of them left. They are all in the house and they are all A-okay and safe. and Nick's HOH was one of the worst I've ever seen. And now Cliff has a better HOH than he does. Cliff literally is the savior of the season so far. First one. Hopefully there's more, but we all were about to cancel our feeds. I think some of you already have canceled your feeds. But now I'm like, yeah, Cliff's Boss Hogg's in the house. Yeah, Nick's HOH was useless. Legitimately a wasted week. Nothing changed except people are a little more annoyed and yeah. Yep, all 3 people he nominated still in the house and they can be angry. I mean, Cliff's acting like, you know, he's not going to hold grudges to any of the people who previously put him up, which would be Nick and Christy. He's not going to hold any grudges to the 6 people who voted against him. But he kept his story straight to every single person that he did a one-on-one with, which was really, really smart. He didn't actually say any names, although he alluded to Jack multiple times. But he said the same thing of like, look, for my game, I just know I have to break up where the most numbers are. And people were like, yeah, I guess that makes sense. Like, there's not much you can say back to that, which is why it took Tommy so long. He like walked away, scrambled more with the 6 shooters. Then he finally came back with the best thing he could come up with. But obviously it wasn't very good and it did not work. Why would you put up one person from the large group and one person from a small group? Doesn't make sense. Holly and Sis are in a Livid David thinks the people who have the best chance right now is Holly and Sis. I mean, Cliff said, I guess I could put up Jack and Sis. He's just putting them together because, you know, but he was like, what's Sis? Like, I'm not scared of Sis. I'm not worried about Sis. Like, what if Sis were the one to go? Then, like, that was pointless. The fact that he could say, if on my HOH Sis went out, that would be pointless. I mean, that's kind of true. Like, Holly and Sis are kind of part of the group, but not the threats and not really the targets. But honestly, so Ryan just says, who would I like to see win? And honestly, I think Nicole's the only one that I would like to see win, or maybe Cliff. I mean, if this is the start of like a brand new Cliff, I might be able to get down with that. But I don't think we are going to see anyone we want to win. I think this is Tommy and Christy's game. They have been in the best place so far. Everyone trusts them. Everyone likes them. We even saw it today in most of the 101s. Everyone's like, well, Christy and Tommy are great. Like, don't put them up. It's just like, what? You guys, because you think they're so great is the reason to put them up. They have that vibe. Remember Paul in 19 when everyone thought they were Paul's number 2? It's kind of that same thing. When Christy talks to you, apparently she makes you feel like they're so tight, they're so close, and that what she's saying to you is like the truth, which is not the case. She's lying to you left and right. The only person she's true to is Tommy, but everyone thinks that she's true to them. So Tommy and Christy are in the best place, and Cliff is the only person who has mentioned putting them up so far, and he didn't put them up. So I think they're going to sail quite a bit longer. And the other person I think's in the mix is honestly Kat, which makes no sense, you guys. Kat, like, half the time doesn't know where she is, but the other half of the time actually kind of gets the game. And she's got this new assigned job where she's a mole. And so she doesn't have to like do this loyalty thing. She's legitimately supposed to pass information around, and she's being selective about the information that she is spreading around, which shows me she's thinking. And if people just keep dismissing her, I think she is up in the running with Tommy and Christy, which just all of this, again, blows my mind. So back to the original question, who do I want to win? I don't think that's even a question. I don't think that we get who we want to win this year. Those first 3 people that were just evicted, that's who I wanted to win. But they're out of the game. This whole season is just topsy-turvy, right? Hey, Brett, call me. Has anyone heard from Brett? Like, is Brett, I'm sure he's loving all of this. He loves that kind of attention. Exactly. AB says Kat could be the new Josh, and that's kind of where she is right now. And people aren't going to take her seriously. They haven't yet. So keep giving her all of the information. She's getting all the info from all the sides. Yeah, she's golden. And I was going to say, and she won a comp. Granted, I don't know what that comp was, and no one else seemed to play. So she's either amazing at puzzles, or we were just in the Twilight Zone for a minute. I hope it's the start of a brand new Cliff, Fellowship of the Zing. I know. Can we get at least Fellowship of the Zing to kind of still be around? I just want to say that we're in a season full of awful alliance names. I can't stand these number names. And we have this amazing Fellowship of the Zing name, and we don't even get to use it very much because they're not really in the house. But maybe they are. Maybe we count them. Ben says, what do you think about Jess in the house? I mean, she's in a decent position because she's being overlooked. And now if we get to this point of let's fight, she's not going to be on the block. But she does not understand the game. Whereas Kat kind of gets the game. Holly gets the game. Sis kind of gets the game. Jess is not aware of what's going on. When she was having her one-on-one with Cliff, no full sentences were being said. They just both were I know, it's just, and then I look at, and I just whoo, and I but us, and I was like, what? Oh my gosh, please just stop. So Jess is held up to my this is the only one I think I was accurate on, was before the game. I was I think she's just going to be along for the ride, and they'll keep her until final 6 or 5. And then they'll be oh, well, we don't need her anymore, so she can go. And I think that's where she is right now. She's kind of furniture. Kat is fun to watch because she has no idea what she's doing, but seems like she's going to go far and stays off the radar. I think she knows a little bit more than she lets off. I think she's playing dumb. I think that's kind of the character that she chose. But she is entertaining to watch sometimes. Holly has kind of been furniture. She's doing that on purpose. And I remember last year thinking Angela was furniture. And so I'm going to refrain from calling Holly furniture just in case she shows up at the end, because I'm not sure. So someone just said, who did Cliff put on the block? So let's collectively say, Jack and Jackson. No, my sound effects aren't very good. Cliff just reminded CBS why recruits suck. Oh my gosh. Did you guys hear Bella today in her one-on-one with Cliff? She said, am I really playing that good of a game? I'm a recruit. And then they cut the feeds, and I was like, wait, did she just say that? No, Bella, darling, you're not playing very well at all. And you're now on the bottom. Who do I think will be in the final 5? That's a very good question. It will be Tommy and Christy for sure. It'll probably be Kat. And then I'm hoping Cliff and Nicole. That would be bomb. That would be my fave. Why didn't Julie talk about the racist stuff like she did in 15? I know. I kind of was is she trying to subtly bring it up and ask the question of why do you think you guys were treated differently? But it wasn't enough. She needed to straight up say it. And I haven't watched the full extended interviews yet. I don't know if any of you guys have, but I wonder if it came out later. They have been cutting the feed strategically this year, for sure, because they're getting so much bad press. I wish they would sort of tackle it a little bit more heads on instead of just cutting feeds. Yeah, I think Julie was trying to start it, but she's a journalist. She could have done more. And is she really super loyal to CBS? I know CBS pays her paycheck, writes her paycheck. But they also fired her husband last year, so she could have just flew through it. Yeah, Tracy Glazer says he should have put Christy up to flesh out her power, and I kind of feel like that's valid. And Cliff didn't seem like that was even an option. As soon as he heard Christy had a power, he kind of just like pushed her to the side. And I think he used that time to be like, Tommy and Christy, because he said to both of them, you guys are safe. I don't want you guys to go home. I don't want to put you guys up. Like he kind of used that to be like, I'm going to break up your team, but I like you guys. Sebastian, Sarah, you're amazing. I'm not able to support you on Patreon, but I do appreciate your channel. That is fine, you guys. We appreciate any time that you just watch and that you talk to us and you comment and you chat with us, because that's why we do this. We do this for fun, so don't even worry. Put up Jack and Christy. I know. I would have loved to have seen Christy on the block. I mean, she's already kind of losing her mind. Her on the block would have been so fun. But I'll be interested to see. I'm sure we'll see a lot of conversations over the next couple days about her using her power. I mean, I don't mind her using her power because I just want it to get out, you know. I want it to be over with, and then she doesn't get to sort of flaunt that. Oh, and Jack's on the block, so we should talk about the fact that he has a power. It's a horrible power, and it's dumb, and I don't even know if he'll use it. But Jack does have the ability to change the veto poll, the like names when they do the picking veto players. He could be like, no, redo, but then it's still random. The second time it's still random. We're still like pulling names, so it could be just as bad or worse. And I don't know if it matters because he's on the block, so he probably doesn't care whose names are pulled at this point. Unless he wants to like make sure that Nick and Bella's names aren't pulled and they don't get to play, just in case they get some sort of plan to use them as a replacement nominee. I like when the twist flop. I mean, sometimes it's fun when a twist flops, but also like I feel the fact that Jack and Christy both have powers is also a flop, because then, one side still has all of the power, Right. I would love for him to use the power and the exact names get pulled again. Like, that's just hilarious. How is that a power? I would be like, this is dumb. I'm never going to use this, which is probably what's going to happen. He's never going to use it. I know people want Jack to go, but I'd rather Jackson go to see how both Kat and Holly play without him. That's an interesting point. I really want, whoop, my husband's calling me. I'll just mute that real quick. That's an interesting point to just see how people can survive without somebody, but I need Jack out of the house. I mean, Jackson actually entertains me a little bit. I'm not saying that I love him or that he's great, but this whole thing where he takes himself so seriously is actually very funny, that I just sit back and I'm just like, what? I mean, he went into Cliff's room at one point today and was like, oh, I just got to tell you, because Ovi sat me down before yesterday afternoon before he left and was like, look, tell Cliff that I won the power. I mean, it was so made up. Jackson was acting like he was like the Lord delivering this message like to Cliff, and that he's just got so much power and so much info, and he's here for Cliff to pass this message on. And it's like, hello, Cliff knew already who had that Ovi had this power. And it was like, oh, that was such, but see, I get entertained by a little bit of that. I hope that Kimmy or David could go back in the game. I know, but at this point, that house hated them so much that I'm just like, they just need to come back another season. I want to see like a pre-jury season, Jack out pre-jury would be fantastic. I would love it. I would love it. He would probably just like disappear in a bunker and not read anything on the internet. I feel like that's his vibe. Hi, Evette. Hi. Yeah. I think, yes, Nicholas, I do have a husband. I do. 12 years this September. Can you believe it? Crazy. Okay, you guys, thank you so much for joining me on my first live stream. This was so exciting. I think we should all celebrate tonight that the Jacks are on the block. Woo! Give us all a pat on the back for hanging in there for this first month of BB21. That was rough. That was really, really a tough go. But I'm hoping that this is the catalyst to turn it all around. Hi, Corey! Yay! Thank you for coming by. Oh, yay! I'm so glad that this didn't tank horribly. Thank you so much for stopping by. I will get better at this live stream and do more of them. Because this is fun, because, you know, I have so much to say about these crazy feeds. And I will say hi to David for you all and tell him that you all asked about him. And he will be excited to be back on Monday because I'm sure he's got a lot to say. Okay, you guys, I'll see you later. Bye.